4 Jamaican students who yesterday journeyed to a border crossing in Ukraine to get to Poland are now on the other side. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, provided an update via social media platform. During an exclusive interview on the Bergerman Show on our sister station Mellow FM this afternoon, one of the students, CJ McCallum, explained how they reacted when they heard news of Russia's imminent attack on the Ukraine.
Let me clarify. From the get-go, there was always a threat. So we were on high alert. We were prepared to... It's not that we were complacent and relaxed and not wanting to leave. It's just that things had to be put in place. From the get-go, when they told us Russians were building up around the border, we were on high alert. But as we shared in our meeting with the Jamaican embassy in Berlin, like, things had to be put in place before we can leave. So, as you correctly mentioned, on the ground, things were normal. Citizens did not expect any attacks or anything like that. Though the media here is not being censored, like, they're on the same page basically with the CNN and the BBC, persons are still saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. A president doesn't say they're going to attack and then follow through with the plans. They were just, coming up with different things to say that, hey, listen, things are normal here, things will continue to be normal. It's just diplomatic power play and stuff. But of course, we as Jamaicans, we are in a foreign land, we had to be alert and prepared. So from the get-go, that was our position. But things had to be put in place before we could leave.
The mother of 2 of the students studying in Ukraine, Miss Lorraine, said that she had advised her sons to come home. However, due to circumstances, they were unable to do so.
2 boys in Ukraine. One attended Cornwall College and one Kingston College, University of the West Indies. They entered Ukraine October and November 2016. They have 4 months to complete. Both of them are doing medicine. Some of the things you hear, they are erroneous. I can tell you, I have been talking to my boys, and I've been talking to them before the war actually started. When we heard that it was there was a pending war, I said to them, listen, boys, you need to get home. One of them said it's not going to happen because they had tried it before and it didn't. However, I told him to take precautionary measures and come home. He was concerned that they have their final year and they had another exam to do, which would have been sometime this week. So based on that, they were looking to see if they could come, if they could defer it and all of that. They have been in communication with the consulate, who is actually giving information to the foreign affairs personnel here.
She also explained how the delicate situation happening in Ukraine continues to unfold.
They were saying that if they leave, the Jamaicans there were going to have situations too, because guess what? A lot of them needed information, they needed stuff in order to complete what they were doing in order to leave. I bought their tickets. The tickets were expensive. You're talking about $3,000 something for a ticket from there to go. Each tickets went up to as much as $3,000 and something. It wasn't money that caused them to be there. And when I heard one of your callers stated today, that's not a government picnic. I know that they're my kids. I wasn't expecting anything or any handout from government. They've been there for 6 years and I've never called to beg handouts or anything. However, the assistance that I was expecting to be offered to them, tell them where to go and what to do. You offer them a loan because there were students who were there for first year. And these first year students really appear and spend everything, pay agents and everything. They had no money. They didn't know where to turn. You're going to tell them after that, listen, we had given loans to students before and they haven't repaid it, and hence it is kind of difficult for us to give you the loan. However, after they came back and they said, okay, fine, there's a loan that they can give to them. However, they were not told how they could access the loan.
Meanwhile, People's National Party, PNP President Mark Golding says he has secured the commitment of a group of psychiatrists to provide counseling services to Jamaican students studying in the Ukraine who may have been affected by the Ukraine-Russia conflict and feel the need for those services. The team of 6 includes volunteers from the Jamaica Psychiatric and Psychological Associations and is headed by renowned consultant psychiatrist Dr. Winston Delahaye, who is a former Chief Medical Officer of Jamaica. Mr. Golding has advised the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Dr. Delahaye's offer, and therefore students may access the services through the ministry. If they prefer, students may contact Dr. Delahaye directly via email at wdela@yahoo.com. In other news tonight, a police constable was shot in the stomach in the vicinity of Vale Royal in St. Andrew. Reports coming into our news center are that the constable turned up at Vale Royal and an altercation took place. Now, during the altercation, a member of the JCF's protective services shot the constable. The injured policeman was then taken to hospital for treatment. As we continue with the news tonight, 28-year-old Maurice James, unemployed of Logwood in Whithorn, Westmoreland, was fatally shot in his community yesterday. Reports from the Whithorn police coming into our news center tonight are that at approximately 3:45 p.m., James was standing inside his yard when he was ambushed and shot multiple times by armed men. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, James was discovered lying in his yard with multiple gunshot wounds to his upper body. He was transported to the Savannah Lamar Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Westmoreland police have reported that James is the 23rd person to be murdered in the parish since the start of the year. Still tonight, the family of 69-year-old Diane Lubier is seeking the public's assistance to locate her. She has been reported missing for 7 years to date, and the family has made trips to Negril in Westmoreland, where she was last seen after coming to Jamaica on a vacation. Diane is a citizen of Canada. Her mode of dress when last seen is unknown. Diane's sister, Darlene Alum, who is visiting the island in the hope of getting answers to her sister going missing, spoke with our news team and had this to say.
I brought the media here because 7 years ago, I had a sister named Diane Lubier that went missing. And I came down the following year to find her, which I haven't. And I dealt with the immigration, I dealt with the police and everything. And I didn't get nowhere, and I had no answers. And then I wanted to come back 2 years ago, but with COVID, we couldn't come back. So finally, I got enough money. I came back. I got to give it one more try. I have to find her. So I'm asking everybody for their help. She was friends with this massage therapist that worked here in the grill. And then she was seeing this young man. And what I know of this young man, I kept in contact with him, and young man moved on. Like he doesn't know where she's gone. He knows nothing. They got in an argument. He went his way. She went her way. So I do not know.
Now, Darlene says she hopes to get some answers to what could have happened to her sister.
My sister just lived an hour from me. It's not like it wasn't a sister that, we weren't close. I was close with her. And the week that she went missing, I have spoken to her. And I says, how are you doing? And she did say to me, I feel like I'm catching a little cold. She says, I'll call you back later. And then the next day, that's when her daughter called me and she says, Mama's missing. I said, oh, really? Like this was like a big shock. And it was the last time I heard from her. And that was in June. I'd like them to find her, to have some answers, if she chooses to live here in Jamaica, that's fine. But for me, I need to know if she's alive. Like, you know, she could be at the bottom of the ocean. How do I know? Like, I don't really know. Like, a lot of people say they seen her, but is it really her? Like,
She has made a plea to the government to assist them in finding Diane.
and you need money just to come here. Like, it's not easy for us to do this, right? It's not a hip and a hop for us. Like, it costs us money. And if you don't have the money, I want the government to help me, please. I need answers. I need to put this to rest. It's 7 years. We're going on almost 8 years. I need to have some kind of answer, some kind of closure. Please.
Now, the niece of the missing woman, in speaking with our news team, claimed that residents said they saw Diane about a week ago at West End in Negril.
So my name is Chantal, and this is my aunt. So I've been posting some pictures of her on the Facebook pages of the Negril, and some people have contacted me back and said that she's in the west end of town, that they've seen her with a guy. She has a boyfriend, and that they've had a scooter and they had a crash about a week ago, and then they haven't seen her since. About a week ago they've seen her. We don't know what kind of state of mind. Like my mom said, she lost her husband at that point. So if she's doing drugs and alcohol, we don't know what kind of state of mind she's in at the moment.
Still making Mellow TV news, the police are seeking the public's assistance to locate 65-year-old Clyde Taylor, hotel manager of Salem, Runaway Bay St. Anne, who has been missing since Saturday, February 26. He is of dark complexion and medium build. Reports from the Runaway Bay Police coming into our news center are that at approximately 9 p.m., Taylor left home wearing a striped blue and orange long-sleeved shirt and a pair of blue jeans. All efforts to contact him have proven futile. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Clyde Taylor is being asked to contact the Runaway Bay Police at 876-973-7057, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. Party unity must be maintained at the constitutional and divisional level, so said Member of Parliament for St. James Southern, Homer Davis, during the Jamaica Labour Party's Area 4 meeting yesterday.
Unity going forward, ladies and gentlemen, must be our mission statement. Party unity within our division and our constituency. And as I said to PM, and I've said to many of my colleagues, my commitment to my party and my government and my constituency is to secure for myself my second term, but secure for the government a third term, because we deserve it. And that is the trajectory that I am on now. I am blinkered because I know if there's a government and there's an administration that deserves a third term, is this administration.
Mr. Davis, who is also the Minister of State, who has portfolio responsibility for rural development, including the Rural Water and Rural Electrification Program, explained that the workers working on the Montego Bypass project will be certified by the Heart Trust NSTA.
Where 90% of the labor working on that project will be Jamaicans. And not only 90%, but those workers will be trained. They will be trained and certified in the respective skills that will be required. And those who already have the skills and is not certified will be certified by the Heart Trust NSTA. So when that project is completed, we will have a set of skilled, certified workers. As it relates to technical workers like the mechanics, the engineers, the surveyors, that will be 50-50. 50% Jamaicans and 50% others. As a matter of fact, the training will be paid for by the contractor, China Harbour Construction Company Limited. So we are not just allowing international contractors to just come in and do contract. We are saying to them, you need to impart some of your knowledge. So when you shall have left us, then we can at least maintain and we start building roads for ourselves.
The meeting was held at the Godfrey Stewart High School and was attended by several party officials, including Chairman Robert Montague, who charged members of Area 4 about their elected duty to the people they represent.
To be a local government representative is the highest form of political service, the best form of political service. And once you have accepted that role, you have a responsibility to get elected. And once you are elected, you have a greater responsibility to stay elected. You just need to have the confidence in yourself and go and knock on the next door. And when somebody tells you no, you don't hold it against them. You forgive them because they know not what they say. And you move on. Some people want to convince the person that tell them no. Move on. Move on. Set yourself a daily budget of who you're going to see. You have to know the results for the last 6 elections. You have to know that. You have to know how much you're looking for PD by PD and where the people who consent to vote from you are. You have to look people in the eyes when you shake them and when you ask them to vote for you. Don't waste time going there to talk to people about the weather and how them flowers look good. That's not what you went there for. You went to ask them to support you. And be clear in your mind what are your plans for the community. It's not about you. It's about the community. And write down the discussion, the major points when you leave the house so you can be reminded. So just work hard and hold down your head. Don't be distracted. And remember, social media, don't vote. Instagram, don't vote. And Facebook, don't vote. So when you do the work, then you put it on social media. But too much of us wasting time taking selfie before we knock on people's door.
Mr. Montague, who is also Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, says he is committed to issuing 6,000 land titles before December 25 of this year.
But I am committing to giving out 6,000 titles before December of this year. Because too much of us know people who are in possession of family land, dead left land, land where you live on but you don't have no paper. It is estimated that there are some 353,000 parcels of land in Jamaica that don't have a title. And you have some that have title but is not in the name of the person who possessed the land, but it still have title. Of those 353,000 parcels, the National Land Agency estimates that they have a value of some $200 billion. But there's a lot of money locked up in land. We are rich, poor people. We're rich because we have the land, but we're poor because we cannot unlock the value in the land. My job is to give the key to these 353,000 Jamaicans to unlock that value. So when the Prime Minister talks about prosperity, these are some of the things he's talking about. When how much people have their children want to go to university and college, but them just don't have the money, but them have the land. that they can convert the wealth in the land.
Still tonight, George Wright, the independent member of parliament for Westmoreland Central, was not allowed to join the meeting when he turned up at the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP's Area Council 4 meeting yesterday. Now, when Wright showed up at the private session, he was immediately asked to leave the premises. Now, according to Deputy Leader J.C. Hutchinson, the Member of Parliament was asked to leave because no outsiders had been invited. Continuing with the news, during a tour of the parish of Westmoreland last week, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie commended the joint forces for the work they have been doing to keep the community safe under the use of the Zone of Special Operations, ZOSO.
The Jamaican people should be proud of our security forces. The demonstration of professionalism and the glowing praises that the two communities that are under the zones of special operations, they are singing the praises of the joint forces here. And I really want to, on behalf of the government, say to the hard-working men and women of the Jamaica Defence Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force that the country is grateful. You know, one lady said to me that it is a joy that even when a pebble falls now, she can hear the pebble falling. And they are saying to us, have the forces remained. Since the zone have started, there has not been one incident of violence in this area, and this is commendable. You know, and again, our security forces are working under adverse conditions because the general area here in Russia and the other communities have been neglected for years. My visit this morning along with JSF and other support staff is to look at the next phase. And that next phase is to now give a different look to the community.
He said that the ZOSO in Westmoreland will be extended.
All the ZOSOs, based on the regulations that the ZOSOs was established under, after a certain period, we go back to Parliament to extend the ZOSO. And I can say without fear of contradiction that this will be extended. It has been extended and it will be extended. So the residents should have no fear that the ZOSO will leave tomorrow or next week. That is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Westmoreland is a critical parish. The level of crime in the parish is high. I've been here since Wednesday, and almost all the places that I've visited, the same cry is the level of violence and the dislocation. And the government is going to respond. The government has been responding, and the government will increase the pressure on the criminal elements so that the people at least can live in comfort, and that the society on a whole can feel comfortable. But having the security forces here is not the answer alone. The community have to play its part. Give the information on the criminals. Report where the guns are. Because the same criminal that you are protecting is the same one, if things don't go right, go and come and kick down your door and kill you or kill your residents. So I'm urging the residents to support the efforts of the security forces and to support themselves in ridding their communities of criminals.
Meanwhile, Minister McKenzie bemoaned the deplorable condition of the road network in Westmoreland Eastern, which he says has been neglected over the years.
The major problems the residents have spoken to me about are the drain condition, the roads. You know, the community is in a bad way, and the Zozo is not the answer to all of the problems. But the responsibility of rural development, which falls under my ministry, is going to be playing a very significant role in this area to help to improve the lives of the community. We're going to be meeting in a week or so with a multitask team to look at and to structure the program for the community. I want to use the opportunity to urge the residents. Many of them said that they have been waiting a long time. They have heard the same story before. We have a different driver now at the wheels, right? We have a government now that is committed to respond to the needs of the people. And we are not here on a political mission. We are here to bring social renewal to the people of this part of central Westmoreland who has been neglected for many years. I want to ask them to be patient because things can't move overnight. There's a process that has to be dealt with.
Minister McKenzie said that the government will be undertaking repairs to road and water systems and providing indigent housing in several communities in Westmoreland.
Fruits that we will attend to immediately when we get the approval of the forces, like, to getting the National Solid Waste to come in. We pass some areas where residents use it as a dump heap. We're going to deal with that. Quite a number of broken water mains across the community. We're going to be dealing with that. And the question of the street lights, etc., we're going to be dealing with that because those are low-hanging fruits. But I must say how pleased I am and that the government will be responding in a meaning and a positive way to ensure that the peace and the stability and the improvement in the social and living conditions of this community is upgraded. It is going to take some time, but we are starting now, and that start will definitely bring some results.
We now turn our attention to tonight's COVID-19 update, where Jamaica reported 25 new cases of COVID-19 and no fatalities yesterday. This according to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Now, this increases total cases of the virus since the start of the pandemic to 127,986. The death toll remains at 2,813. The country also recorded 284 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 76,987, while there are 633 confirmed active cases on the island. Now, of the newly reported cases, there were 11 females and 14 males, ranging in age from 3 to 100 years. In tonight's COVID-19 parish breakdown, St. James recorded 7 cases. Kingston and St. Andrew recorded 5 cases. St. Elizabeth recorded 4 cases. Clarendon, 3. St. Catherine, 2. While Hanover, Manchester, St. Mary, and St. Thomas recorded 1 case each. Continuing with the news tonight, children in central Kingston communities were on the weekend treated to a fair hosted by the Member of Parliament Donovan Williams and the PNP caretaker Imani Duncan Price. Imani Duncan Price said that it is really important to help the children have a good time given all the trauma they have experienced.
Because of the continuous violence and horrific murders and just trauma in the communities, community members, led by Juliet, had actually organized for Kids Peace Street. And when she brought the idea to me about how to bring all the lanes across Spoilers, officially known as Rose Gardens, together by having a Kids Street on Beeston Street, I was fully for it. Because if one thing we know all parents can rally around, is that we all want the best for our children. So by focusing on the children having a good time, for the first time in so long, having fun, being children, we're able to bring back a certain life and community within Spoilers itself.
Mrs. Duncan Price pointed out the incidents that have had a serious impact on the children in these communities.
When you think about the fact that a year and a half of just continuous violence, drive-by shootings, murders, the fact that right near here, a young girl was murdered a few days after Christmas in her bed. Right near here, just down the road, another girl in her bed and bullets came through the roof of her home into her thigh, rushed to the hospital. Children, bullets in the back, traumatized by incessant gunshots for a year and a half. But this to happen today, this kind of kids' peace street, it shows you what is possible when you bring back energy, love, fun to a community, so people can see each other as human beings again, and we can all rally around the children.
MP Williams said this treat for the kids is a way to let the children know they have their political representatives' support.
We have put on this treat to treat the children, to let them know that they are still recognized and important to us. That, you know, for over 2 years they have been under COVID restrictions and protocols. Many have not been going to school. They have started gradually going back to school face to face. We have seen some relaxation, albeit we are still minded that we are not out of the woods and that we should still adhere to the protocols. Notwithstanding, we have put on this treat to help our kids to know that we are still here for them. We are still here, and I'm sure they appreciate this opportunity. They're from all over the constituency. Where we are at now is Beeston Street in Rose Gardens, popularly called Spoilers. And this, if you should take a count, you would recognize that a lot of the kids here are also from Parade Gardens. They're also from Almontown. You know, kids from all over are here, and it's a good feel. Kids are seeing kids that they never used to, that they have not seen in quite a while.
Mr. Williams pointed out that the learning loss is great among the children. Therefore, he will be instituting summer school across the constituency.
In putting on this event, we have also sponsored masks for the kids to wear. You know, sometimes they jump in the trampoline and, you know, they flick off the mask, but we are still encouraging them to stay safe. But this is good for our community because what we are doing, we're basically dubbing this a peace street, in the same way that we have the Football for Peace going, which so far has been very successful. We have decided that we cannot leave the children out. And so this will let the children know that we are here for them. We have suffered some loss in recent times, where some of our kids have been victims of violence, gun violence in the community. And so the children are our future. And what we're using this to do is to assure them that we regard them as the future. And whatever way we can help them to feel accepted and respected, we will continue to do it. It is my plan this financial year to increase my CDF allocation to education, to facilitate some evening classes and to facilitate some extra learning opportunities for the kids. I've already spoken. In fact, we have teachers in the constituency who have come to me to say they are ready to assist the process to help the kids to rebound.
And those are the stories making news. We will now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with the very latest in sports.
Hi, I'm Chris Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. Vaccination has always been a critical part of protecting the health of our Jamaican people. The more of us who get vaccinated, the greater our chances of slowing the spread of COVID-19. The COVID-19 vaccine now available to Jamaica has met all the required safety and quality standards. I will take the vaccine. So let's vaccinate to stay safe.
Message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
We kick off Mellow TV Sport with some interesting news as football's world governing body FIFA and Europe's governing body UEFA have suspended Russian clubs and national teams from all competitions. The move comes after the International Olympic Committee recommended that Russian and Belarusian athletes and officials are banned from any organized international competitions. It means the Russian men's team will not play their World Cup playoff matches next month, and the women's team have been banned from this summer's European Championship. Shamar Nicholson, Reggae Boy forward Spartak Moscow's team have also been knocked out of the Europa League, while UEFA has ended its sponsorship with Russian energy giant Gazprom. FIFA and UEFA have decided to take action after Russia, supported by Belarus, launched a military invasion of neighboring Ukraine last Thursday. Meanwhile, the IOC also said it had taken the ADHOC decision to withdraw the Olympic order from all persons who are currently having an important function in the government of the Russia Federation, including Russia's President Vladimir Putin. It said it made the decision based on the exceptional circumstances of the situation and considering the extremely grave violation of the Olympic truce and other violations of the Olympic Charter by the Russian government in the past. We bowl over to cricket news now. The West Indies women will tomorrow play their final warm-up match against India at the Rangoria Oval before taking on home team New Zealand in the opening match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2022 on March 4 in Tauranga. The Caribbean ladies had their first match ahead of the tournament when they came up against Australian women at Lincoln Green in Lincoln. The West Indies women opted to bowl first and were able to keep the Aussies at bay for almost 45 overs. However, a final flourish saw them reach 259 for 7 of their allotted 50 overs. West Indies replied with 169 for 9 from their innings. While being expensive in her opening spell, skipper Stephanie Taylor finished with figures of 3 for 51 from her allotted 10 overs. Anisa Mohammed was next best, taking 2 for 47 from her 10 overs, while fellow off-spinner Hayley Matthews also had 2 for 45 from 9 overs. Matthews and Taylor posted a 43-run third wicket partnership before Matthews fell for 24. Shadi Nation joined Taylor and they added 49 before Nation fell for 20. Taylor top scored with 66, which came off 128 balls. Cricket West Indies has joined in paying tribute to Sonny Ramadan, the legendary spin bowler who passed away at 92. Ramadan was an outstanding match winner and former famous partnership with left-hand spinner Alf Valentine throughout their careers. They were a crucial part of the team which led West Indies to a famous 3-1 series win against England in 1950. Ramadan had the remarkable match figures of 11 wickets for 152 in the historic win at Lord's, West Indies' first Test match win in England. He was born in Trinidad on May 1, 1929 and made his Test debut against England at Old Trafford in 1950 in the team alongside the legendary 3 Ws, Sir Frank Worrell, Sir Everton Weekes and Sir Clyde Walcott. Ramadan played 43 Test matches and took 158 wickets at an average of 29.98 each. His best bowling figures were 7 for 49 against England at Edgbaston in 1957. Overall, he played 184 first-class matches and captured 758 wickets at 20.24 each. Finally, in the sports news tonight, the Green Bay Packers will play an international series game for the first time in 2022, becoming the 32nd franchise to play in London. The NFL confirmed today 5 of the teams that will feature as the designated home team for the international series games in 2022, with the Packers, New Orleans Saints, and Jacksonville Jaguars playing in London, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers featuring in the first ever NFL regular season game to be held in Germany at the Allianz Arena in Munich. The Arizona Cardinals are involved in the league's return to Mexico for the first time in 3 years. And those are the stories making sports news tonight. I'm Christopher Scott. To remember, stay safe and pleasant viewing.